Hello everybody. I'm checking paper chromatography today in the lab. It's a way to monitor the progression of a malolactic ferment and also to see if it's completed. These are the materials that you need. You need capillary tubes for the wine. You'll see that in a second of why we need these, but you can buy these at any lab supply place. You need paper chromatography paper. It's a special paper. It's thicker than just normal paper. You can't just use any paper. A pencil and a ruler, and then a jar to put it in afterwards. It's got solvent in it, and that solvent is once again you can get it at a lab supply store. So I've collected the wine samples. Standard procedure is you rinse out the sampling valve a little bit with some wine, go to the drain, and then get the sample. I've got them in small beakers, and every beaker has its own capillary tube. It's very important to not cross-contaminate. So you have a capillary tube, which is your sampling tube for every sample. It's got a little hole in the middle, hollow in the middle, and it draws up the sample because of capillary action into the tube, and then you can put the dot on the page. And you want to be very clean as well. The counter is clean, my hands are clean, there's no oils on my hands that could contaminate the paper when I'm handling it, and I use the ruler and a pencil to mark out where we'll be putting the spots. So now I'm going to put the spots on. So you want to get the sample, knock a little bit out of the capillary tube, and I don't know if I can do this through the viewfinder of my camera, probably not, and then put the dot right where it should be. You get bragging rights to have a nice small dot spot on the page. So I've got tank 5. That's a little bit smaller than the last one. That's bragging rights. The carboy of Pinot Noir spot. You don't want to be dripping wine on this at all, so that's why I've got all the samples on this side and going over carboy and another carboy, and then the last one is tank 13. Oops, tank 13. So those are that's first round of spots. So that's wet wine on paper right now. Let that dry. Sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's half an hour or so. You can accelerate that with a little bit of a blow dryer, some warm airflow over it. And the goal is to get a nice concentrated spot of wine. So do about 4 rounds of spots with drying in between. After 4 spots, it's all ready to go. You can see the spots on there. And then you have to make it into a cylinder. And it's important to be lined up. You see how that's lined up, and the staples are not overlapping the paper. They're just holding it together. And now into the jar. You can right away, you can see the solvent coming up. Put the lid on tight, and then overnight, and we'll see what it looks like in the morning. So what's happening is the solvent is coming up through the paper, bringing the wine in those spots up with the paper, and the acids have different weights, so it separates the 3 main acids for wine: tartaric, malic, and lactic, one of the lighter ones. So it'll bring them up, and you'll see the concentrations when we develop the paper. Well, the overnight paper chromatography is done. You can see the yellow all the way up to the top. Now we need to develop it, so you have to hang it in a well-ventilated area with something like this.